Good day, Australia. And today I want to talk to you about something very dear to my heart. The egg. Did you know that Australia produces 6.2 billion eggs like this per year? Eggs are integral to the health. Did you know, for the seniors out there, that eggs contain lutein and zeaxanthin, which is really excellent for the macular degeneration? If you want to keep your eyesight in the older age so you can see the world before you, as I do. And you'll notice here, the egg is runny. This is the best way to get the nutrients of the lutein from the egg. And while discussing the virtue of eggs, I talk to you about a really good egg. Of course, I talk to you about the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, who is a very good egg. Just look at his fine features. He has all of the qualities you'd want in an egg and in a leader. He is sexual, so-sexual, pansexual, and of course heterosexual. He is every kind of sexual. And with that, more good eggs are born into the leadership for the World Economic Forums. And of course, when talking sexual, it is important to remember that even us seniors can remain sexual. And also, and talking macular degeneration, did you know that walking around the house naked is also supposedly good for the eyesight as well? And now we turn to another of my eggs, and this time an egg in Australia. Of course, I talk to you about Australia's Health Minister, Greg Hunt, who before being the Health Minister of Australia was of course an employee of the World Economic Forum. Another of my eggs, another of my children. And I have an excellent story about a man I see as my own child. Greg Hunt came to me and he said, "Klaus, I've got concerns over Australia's biggest business. They're in big trouble if the public find out that they are Australia's biggest killers and they knowingly distributed contaminated blood treatments to patients in Australia and around the world." Greg Hunt was clearly worried that Australia's biggest business, CSL, who'd killed more patients than any other business, was in trouble. How did it make all of these billions, and how was it given indemnities when the company and the government knew that it had distributed, and in many cases knowingly distributed, contaminated blood treatments giving people HIV and hepatitis C and killing thousands? So I said to Greg at this point to be more like another of my stable or my protege of the World Economic Forum. And of course I talk about the chair of CSL, Brian McNamee, who was a public servant until 1994, when Australia mysteriously decided to sell one of its great sovereign assets. Commonwealth Serum Laboratories was privatised and Brian was installed as the CEO. Of course, Brian McNamee's success and the success of CSL was entirely predictable. Here he is here, listed as a graduate in 1994. Young global leaders of tomorrow. There we have it. And from there he went on to build this wonderful $140 billion company. And knowing my passion for eggs, my former protege, Brian McNamee of the Global Economic Forum, pleased me with a story about eggs, knowing the passion I have for them. And he told me, you know, Greg Hunt, who's soon to be retiring as Australia's health minister, Brian said, you know, Greg doesn't get it. In order to build CSL, a $140 billion company, we have to think of it like an omelette. To make a delicious omelette, like I so much enjoy, and like my grandmother Helga used to make for me, he say, you have to break the eggs. And the victims of CSL, the people infected with HIV and hepatitis C, the thousands in Australia and the thousands overseas, these are the eggs. These are bad eggs, though. But they were necessary to be broken in order to make the omelette. What an excellent story, Brian. And Brian McNamee says that, Greg is too emotional. Far too emotional. He worries that one day all of the deaths associated to CSL's medicines, its blood treatments like Factor VIII, which have killed so many haemophiliacs, 90% of Australia's haemophilia population were infected with HIV and hepatitis C from CSL products, and Greg worries that one day this will come out and the people will go to jail. And once again I say to Greg, you cannot make the omelette without breaking the egg.